What's up, Indiana? Welcome in Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. What is going on with the Pacers? Are Colts clinging on to the playoff lives? College hoops to discuss, and your boy Big Mike pays a bet. Lots to get into. Thanks for joining. Saddle up. Indy Sports Nation, let's go. Good afternoon and welcome in, everybody. Big Mike here, coming to you live on another cold, dreary, gray, whatever, Friday afternoon from the great city of Indianapolis. Hope your week has been amazing. Happy Blue Friday to you, Colts Nation. And you may notice your boy's not wearing blue today. It's what you get when you lose a bet. So bet is lost. If you remember, several weeks back, placed a bet with my good friend Heather at Bougie Sports in Ohio over the Indiana versus Ohio State game. We all know how that went down. Not good for Indiana. So paying up on my bet, and she'll join us near the end of the show to rub it in a little bit. So with that said, we got lots to talk about. Obviously, we're going to discuss the Pacers and what's going on there. We'll talk some Purdue. We have some news coming out of Purdue this week. Talk some a lot of hoops, IU hoops, Butler hoops, Notre Dame hoops. Preview a little bit of the Colts Broncos game, which is going to be pretty much the season, if you will, for the Colts, assuming as long as it won't be if they can pull it off, but if they lose, it's going to be in trouble. And then we'll wrap it up on the back end, talk about the college football playoff, talk a little bit of IU versus Notre Dame, and the state's already losing their mind. It's I cannot wait for this game. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But before we get into all that, as you know, we got to give some love to our amazing sponsors, Planet Jerky and Seal the Deal Wax Seal. So sit tight, hang in there with me. Thank you so much for joining. We'll get these bills paid, and we'll start talking some Pacers on the other side. So welcome in once again. Big Mike with you. Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back in. Once again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, whether you're tuning in live or watching the replay. Greatly appreciate it. A couple things here real quick before we get into the Pacers. If you'd be so kind on the old X Twitter platform, whatever you're calling it, at IndySports_IESR, or you can follow me at my personal account, which is at The Chill Mike. Want to touch on one little piece of business before we get into it. As we know, the holidays are amongst us, and happy holidays to all of you out there. But as we get into the holiday season, as we know, we have projects, we have family, whatever. We have a lot of things going on. So as a result of all that, we're going to go live Thursdays here for the next 2 Thursdays. So we'll put this on the socials as well, but we're going to do a little prime time, if you will. So Thursday evening, 7 p.m., we'll be doing this show. So again, Thursday, December 19th and the 26th at 7 p.m. Again, we'll put that out on the socials and whatnot, so you're aware and whatnot. So if you're watching again live, thank you so much. Appreciate any comments you have. You can chime into the show at any time. Just let's keep them sports related and keep them PG. That's all we ask for. All right, so let's get into the disaster that's currently your Indiana Pacers. 10-15 on the season and losing again to the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the Charlotte Hornets are 7-17. 2 of those wins are against, you guessed it, our Pacers. Yeah, I was watching this game on Sunday, and, it was flat. It was awful. But in my head, for some reason, may God have mercy on my soul or something, I don't know. But I thought really maybe by end of the third, maybe end of the fourth quarter, they would just be like, okay, you know what, guys, this is stupid. And then we're just going to say enough's enough and we're going to end this. Nope. And we've seen this too much, in my opinion, thus far from this team. Now, granted, we've talked about this every week. They're hurt. We get it. We had my buddy George on here, my Patriots guru last week, put a little bit of on coaching. That's probably some fairness there. It's easy to be a little bit critical of Coach Carlisle at times. I still give him a little bit of a pass because, injuries and what have you, and yet you have to work your rotations. It really digs into your bench, which was the best in the league last year. We all kind of review here, right? There's that thing called effort. Okay? I mean, I'm sorry. This is where I'm going to really rail on this team, but we rail because we care. Like, this team was so fun to watch last year. You could just see it in their body language and fans just talking with fans and how just excited and proud because you knew this team was on the rise, and how the end of the season last year was, oh, wow, this is early, but holy crap, this team's fun. We're probably not going to beat the Celtics, but hey, what a cool thing to build upon for next year, right? And here we are. This past Sunday, you've got your big Miles Turner, who had one more rebound than I did. Mike, he's not your typical five. That's not the type of game he plays. I don't care. He had one more rebound than I did, which means he had one more rebound than you did. Once you're watching on the replay, unless I'm sure no one on the team's watching this, but whatever. You know what? You get the point, right? I mean, you had, Charlotte's on a back-to-back. You've had Brandon Miller bring about 6 guys with him that he picked up at his local YMCA and just out-hustle, out everything the Indiana Pacers on Sunday. And again, this is not new. It's the second time they've lost to Charlotte. They've lost to Toronto twice. They've lost to Brooklyn. This is no way should this team be 10-15. So something's wrong here. So I've said in the past weeks I'm a little concerned about this team, but not to the point where I'm so worried. I'm whatever. I've definitely my level of concern has risen significantly because I'm not sure they know how to get out of this. Some will say when Neesmith gets back, that'll help because he's about the only guy who knows what defense is. So maybe that helps a little. But I don't know if they know. And saw people commenting, oh, they're spatting back and forth. Look, I'm not going down that road, man. I mean, people want to start speculating, oh, it's a locker room issue. It's cold. No, it's not. I don't think so. I mean, I'm not there. Could I be wrong? Sure. But I'm not to that point. Because here's why. Think about it. Think about it like in your own work, right? If things aren't going well, say the company's, struggling a little bit or, what happens? Everybody becomes a little bit more on edge. Attitudes get a little worse. You start under a lot of pressure. You start it's frustrating. It's a frustrating experience. And that's, I think, kind of what's going on here with these players because they know they can have success because they've done it. So I don't know how to really go through. I mean, at this point, hopefully play through it and get out of it. Maybe for a bit, we thought it was more of a Tyrese thing. Although I'm looking at stats from the other night, he had 9 points, 8 assists. Yeah, you got to do better than 9 points. Like I've said about him, I don't need him scoring 30. I need him having high single digits, little double digit assists, and maybe putting up 20, 18, 17, 20, whatever, somewhere like there. So, comments rolling in. Taryn checking in. Appreciate you checking in there, Taryn. Much appreciated. As I always say, SoCal Sports, it's that point. It's a ton of great work for us. But just reviewing here again, I mean, Matherin's been a little bit lost as of late. Again, he had Turner. Miles Turner, here he is, 20, barely played, but 10 points, 1 rebound. So, anyway, I guess if there's a bright spot, you have the Sixers tonight, and the Sixers are also kind of a mess. That's on a tip at 7:00. In Philly, and sadly enough, here 7-15 Sixers, and they're 6.5 point favorite. That should tell you a lot about the Pacers right now. I'm sorry, but it's to me. I've mentioned effort. I feel like in at least 4 or 5 of these losses so far this season, and that's really concerning. I don't know what. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know if they know. I don't know if we know. It is frustrating to say the least. Oh, we'll see how they do tonight. Love to see they could really use a bounce back. But right now, I'm not. I don't know. Not very optimistic. So I'm not going to rant too much more on that because, quite frankly, until I start seeing some effort from these men, I don't know if they deserve a whole heck of a lot of time. So, but that being said, I'm going to stick with some hoops. We'll jump into Butler real quick. I think the men are a little bit of trouble. And, I said before that I wasn't real sure what we're going to get with this team. I don't think anybody really did. But they lost early to Austin P at home, which was my ward. That was just terrible. I'm sorry. You're a Big East school. You're not doing that. That's just, you got to be better than that. But, we always say too, hey, bad losses happen. They've happened to, every team has them. Sure. So you come in this week and play North Dakota State. Every matchup, projection predictor, blah, blah, blah. Gave Butler, I think, a 96% chance to win, and they were down 21 at halftime. To North Dakota State. Perennial basketball powerhouse, right? Mind you, again, it's at Hinkle. This is a Butler home game. And, 21 points. Jakari White from North Dakota State couldn't miss. I mean, you're going to have – that's what's great about hoops, right? You get on a streak and bam. You can – anybody can beat anybody. But not with a defensive performance like that. And then, of course, they couldn't buy a basket either. I mean, from Butler's standpoint, they basically had 2 people who scored. Telfort and Brooks. That was pretty much it. Fortunately, McCaffrey can hit the broadside of a barn. The total field goal percentage I'm pulling up right now, they shot 37% from the field. That's not going to get it done. And sadly, they actually took care of the ball. 4 turnovers. I mean, that's a good number. But it's been Butler saying they haven't had great shooters in a while. And you saw some glimpses early in the year with McCaffrey and even Brooks. I thought they were shooting the ball fairly well. But here's the thing. You can't lose 2 home games to this type of competition. Now, I'm not trying to, say anything negative or throw shade at those other schools, but you're a Big East school. Your goal, it wasn't that long ago you were in the Final Four. You can't be losing at home to this type of competition. You just can't. The Houston loss, I understood. That's a matchup deal. Houston's a good team. They play physical defense. Love them or hate them. So whatever. But I said Butler needed to win 8 games, really, I think. 9 would be great. But I thought 8. To position himself going into a tough Big East, right? Like, it's always tough. To potentially look to maybe finish middle of the pack, potentially get a bid to the tournament. But what I'm seeing of that, that is not looking good there. So they just got to get more contribution. I mean, they did early, but it takes teams are going to take those 2 players and just, hey, okay, we'll contain you guys, make the rest of us beat you. So if we don't get more consistent step up from the other guys on the squad there, I think Butler could be in a little bit of trouble. So the women, on the other hand, a little brighter spot, I think. Tough win this past Wednesday, to double overtime to Wisconsin, moving Butler to 9-3 on the year. That was a great game. Just Wisconsin just lasted them in overtime. Really, nothing more to it than that. Good performance, I thought. Little sloppy with the ball though. Little too many turnovers. Boards were fine. They were fine on the boards. Actually, out rebounded Wisconsin. But have a couple coming up here before they get into conference play with St. Francis coming in, and then they'll go. Then actually, it's only one, I guess. Then they go to DePaul, which is struggling. So hopefully, get that ship righted. They had won, 3 straight prior. So see some good things out of this women's program, and want to keep that going here. So a few more checking in. Ralph does a Yinzer report out of Pittsburgh. Asked about that Indiana Notre Dame bracket game. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show. Indiana's losing their mind over it. Boy Charlie chirping in here. Don't worry, we'll see good hoops in Indy again tomorrow at noon. We're going to talk about that here actually right about now. So perfect timing. So previewing Butler, actually the Butler men play Wisconsin this weekend in the Indy Classic. And those of you who are familiar with this used to be the Crossroads Classic where you had Indiana, Notre Dame, Butler, Purdue, and we loved that here in Indiana. It was just kind of a bragging rights type of thing, good fun, what have you. I mean, come on, this is, it's Indiana. It's 49 other states. It's just basketball. So we loved this thing. And then, some feelings got hurt with a few of the schools. I won't mention their names, but one wears cream and crimson and the other one's in South Bend. So is what it is. So now it's named the Indy Classic. So Butler will be playing this weekend here in downtown against Wisconsin, which we'll see if Butler could bounce back, man. I mean, they had the nice win over Mississippi State earlier in the season, who was ranked at the time. Now you essentially have a home game against Wisconsin. So that should be an interesting game. Like I said, we'll see which Butler squad that has shown up. The couple I've seen live, I think they could give Wisconsin a game, but we see these performances like earlier this week. I'm not so sure about it. So, speaking of the Indy Classic, we got to move on to the other school that's involved in the Indy Classic. That would be the Purdue Boilermakers, coming off a nice win against Maryland. A good hard fought one, I thought too. They needed that after that debacle that was Penn State. I mean, it's an absolute debacle that was Penn State. So a good effort. Braden Smith really balled out. Pull up some stats here in a sec, but he balled out. Trey Kaufman Wren balled out. That's what they need. And then you have a guy like Laurie who can come in and get those nice threes at the crucial times, which, that's their recipe right now. And then obviously some of the other guys like Colvin, Heedy, and those guys kind of stepping up and taking more of that role. Cox even for that matter. But no, pulling up some stats here real fast. I mean, this is the Braden Smith that, all the Purdue fans know and love from this game. I mean, 24 points, 10 assists, played all 40 minutes, 9 of 15. And then again, Kaufman Wren at 21 and 8. So when you get those guys doing that, there's going to be some good things for Purdue. Now, granted, I think what some Purdue fans aren't quite used to right now is they're probably not going to blow out a ton of teams, especially now the conference plays rolling around. I mean, this isn't where you had Zach Edey down low and nobody could stop him. You're kind of hoping that Kaufman Wren can you're not going to model yourself after an Edey, obviously, but just kind of be that guy down the post that you really, really need. But in a couple of games he's done that, Purdue has done very, very well. So I think just to get him a little bit more consistent, I don't want to say he's inconsistent right at this point, but I think he's there. I think he's just kind of right there, really to kind of take that next step and kind of see where it goes. But Fletcher Loyer had I wouldn't call his best night shooting, 4 of 11. But when he's hitting, again, tough to beat. So big game this weekend. Texas A&M coming into town again as part of the Indy Classic. So that's a noon tip-off. I believe it's on CBS. I think right now that is a kind of a pick'em game. If I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna pull this up right here. Yeah, this is I think Purdue's not getting much here. The matchup predictor about 52-48 there. So it's gonna be a really good game. I think both Texas Texas A&M's got some pretty stout defense on that side. So it's going to be really important for Purdue guards to take care of the ball and not replicate what they did at Penn State, because they do that again. This game will not go well. So looking forward to that game noon again with the men. A couple other nuggets out of Purdue I wanted to get in before we get to our next break. For the football side of it, Barry Odom out of UNLV is now the new head coach at Purdue. And he's already gotten a couple transfers. Of course, one of them was his son. But, hey, you got to start somewhere. After the season Purdue had, you have to start somewhere. So, good on them. I believe he got another linebacker coming with them as well. But it's a 6-year, $39 million deal. 6-year, $39 million makes him the top paid coach at Purdue. I mean, he was on the long list. If you watched last week, I read the list. I think it was about an 18-minute long list of candidates that they had. So it was kind of surprising they got this guy so quick. But obviously, this was a guy they definitely wanted. Had some experience at Missouri, and he was given that role on an interim basis. And I think they brought, if my memory serves me correct, he ends up getting the job. And I don't know, maybe it was a job he wasn't quite ready for yet. I don't know. I mean, he was kind of like 500. He had a couple of decent runs there, but they kind of ran him out of town. And a couple of good years at UNLV. Obviously, for those who saw, it was them at Boise State for their conference championship. And he's put together a couple of winning seasons out at UNLV. So another note worth mentioning that Purdue's actually paying the $3 million that UNLV's owed for Odom backing out. Presser was his presser. I mean, it's every presser, right? I mean, anytime you get a new coach in, we're just like, oh, all right, we got this. We're blah, blah, yeah, whatever. Great, cool. We'll just see if it can translate on the field or not. Seems like a decent hire, but again, we don't know. We'll see what it brings in. I know it gives Purdue football fans some optimism, and they deserve that. I gave them credit all season long. They were still showing up to every football game, and they were loud, even though it was probably the worst football season in our school's history. So, one last thing on Purdue. We'll get to a break here, but unfortunately, the volleyball season came to an end last night in Louisville, losing 3-0. That was just a tough matchup. I mean, top-seeded Louisville. They very well may win the national championship. We'll see, but I mean, Pitt's obviously hanging around there too. So those going to be battles. But, man, it was just – I mean, that's, a Sweet 16 game on the road at your opponent's, home court. Tough one to overcome. But, look, I was at the women. It was a great season. And they've got recruits coming in too. This program's not going anywhere. Nothing to be too upset about. I know I saw some people on social media were like, oh, I don't think they were taking it seriously, blah, 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 blah. No, they were taking it seriously. They lost to a better team. Sometimes that happens. So, we'll just, I hate to see it for the Colvins and the Hudsons of the world. But Purdue will be back. And we'll touch on some more volleyball too going forward. We haven't touched on this much yet, but here in Indianapolis, we actually have a new professional team, the Indy Ignite. And of course, they had a draft here last week, and their first 2 picks were girls from Louisville. So that should tell you something right there. So, but with that being said, we're going to get to the next round of breaks here. We're going to talk some more, a little bit more college hoops on the other side, talk a little bit of Colts, and then, we'll have me pay up on a bet. Yay. Can't wait for that. So thank you so much again for joining, everybody. We'll be back right here on the other side, talking hoops. Be right back.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you with the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Once again, thanks for joining. As you, for those of you who may be joining late, you'll see I'm not wearing blue because I lost a bet. That's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You got made the bet. You got to pay for it, right? So here I am wearing some Buckeyes gear, and we'll have a guest on here, Heather from Bougie Sports in Ohio. Will be joining to rub it in my face a little bit more. So, but I want to get some quick hoops real fast, talk a little bit of IU and Notre Dame, and then touch on the Colts game before we kind of do the rest there. Good on IU hoops. Couple decent wins there, and beating Miami of Ohio and Minnesota. Here we go. What kind of got me was the attendance. I don't know if any of you saw this, but Assembly Hall was pretty sparse. It felt like almost like Memorial Stadium, during one of the football games from back in the day. So I'm curious for IU fans who may be tuning in or whatever. If you're watching the replay, great as well. But I'd love to hear your comments on this. I know there's the diehard fans are going to be true, loyal, great. I love that, as you should be. But I almost feel as though, I don't know, are they losing some faith in this team? I don't know why they would just yet. I mean, I didn't watch much of the game against Miami, but I did watch a little bit against Minnesota, and it finally felt to me like, hey, they finally understood this, that they don't have it. Minnesota can't stop Bala. I'm like, wow, how about you getting it into the post instead of just running down and playing street ball and taking shots like they did in the tournament in the Bahamas? Just a thought here. I mean, point being, Abalo, 18-7. It's him and Renew, right? And Renew was 16. Yeah, I do like what I've seen some rise from the point guard perspective, but he was kind of meh in that game, but that's fine. But it just seems like to me that Woodson finally did what IU fans have been screaming at him to do. You take advantage of your matchups, and they finally did that. What's interesting is tonight, they're at Nebraska tonight. And I believe that tips at 8, and Nebraska's getting a 4.5 tonight. And then the old predictor, it's got them a 63% chance to win this. I tell you, Nebraska does tend to shoot, and it's still a little early this year, honestly, a little bit better from the outside, and that's still an Achilles heel for IU. They still, I think, in my mind, have to figure that out, and they can get that figured out. They're going to have a really interesting punch there with Ballo on the inside and getting some outside opportunities. But right now, it's just, again, it's early in the conference play. We're plenty of basketball left, but so we'll see how they do tonight. Wanted to check on the women real quick. Very good win at Penn State this past week, 75-60. And I kind of said this when I previewed them, that Strickland, when she was balling and she's active, they're going to be a tough team to beat. And just so I can just prove my point here, 27 points, 12 of 12 from the field. Last I checked, that's pretty good. I mean, it can't just be Garzon and Parrish and like them all the time. We're going to have some other people stepping up. So good on them. Impressive win. Bellarmine and Oakland for them coming up. Should be both home games, and that's before they get into the root of conference play with Wisconsin. So I want to take a little bit of time to talk some Hoosiers, update you there. We'll see how the men do tonight. So let's go to the Irish here. And by the way, I hope a lot of you got a chance to watch the women last night defeat UConn. Man, Hidalgo was out of her mind, and I was a little concerned when Miles rolled her ankle in the first quarter. But they battled, but UConn couldn't buy a 3-point basket either. So the game actually got close in the third quarter. It was like 53-50. But Notre Dame women just pulled away, and that is their third. I've got it scrolling here, 3-0 versus top 5 opponents this year. So they had the one bad loss, but again, that's going to happen. But that was a fantastic women's game last night. I felt, even though UConn was missing some shots from the outside, but look, Paige Becker still got hers, and because she's always going to. So schedule kind of eases up for the Notre Dame women coming up here. We got Eastern Michigan and Loyola and Virginia all coming in South Bend. So I think this should be some wins for this women's team, and just to kind of keep stacking those up and roll into conference play, because I tell you, this team, as of last night, I think they were third in the odds of winning the whole thing. I never said that far, but this is a Final Four team in my mind, no doubt about it. So giving some love to the men real quick. They're finally kind of getting off their schneid. They've won 2 straight. Arguably not against the best competition, but Shrewsbury's stepped up a little bit these past few games. And they've got a couple winnable games here coming up too. So this might be a good time for them to kind of get that tide swinging back in the right direction. Julie's checking it. Yeah, it was a great game. You're absolutely right. Very fun to watch. I'd encourage you, if you didn't see it, go check out some highlights for sure. So real quick, let's dive into the Colts here, because I want to get this knocked out before we get our guests to come in. So Colts, this is there's some good and some bad here. And so here's basically the scoop. They have to win this game. They're 6-7. Denver's got 2 games on them right now for the 7th wild card spot. Denver's schedule gets pretty tough the rest of the way, while the Colts have a very, very favorable schedule. If the Colts can find a way to win this game, I think they can get in. I don't think Denver's going to run the table the rest of the way. I think the Colts still kind of have to. I mean, the Colts, Denver this weekend, and they have Tennessee at home, 2 of the Giants, then Jacksonville at home. So that's about as good a way you can end the season. Now, what I'm a little worried, because obviously that Denver defense is very, very good. So can the Colts put up some points? Because we have seen what this Colts defense has been known to do. So if the Colts defense that came out in New England shows up, it's probably not going to happen for us, right? I mean, they couldn't stop anybody or anything. But I think we got Josh Downs coming back for the Colts this week is huge for Anthony Richardson. Being the Colts don't really have any tight ends. I mean, yeah. I made the joke last week. They're on a roster, blah, 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 but we all know how it is. So, Josh Downs is kind of that go-to guy. And he's kind of been wide receiver 1 for the Colts this year for the most part. So having him back will be huge. The Colts have to get, in my eyes, they got to get Jonathan Taylor moving. They got to find a way to get something going in the running game. I know the Denver defense is what is good and what they are, but they got to find ways to get him going. Then you can kind of do some more dual threat with AR, possibly get some things opened up over the middle of the field. They're going to have to get some points on the board against a very, very good defense. Now, weather looks good for Denver. Like I checked on like mid 50s, 4:25 kickoff. That's Eastern time. Never say never. I mean, Denver's playing pretty good football right now, and I don't think anybody would have seen them be 8-5 right now. But it's the NFL, so there's parity, as we know. But obviously, the Colts cannot turn the ball over, so you got to take care of the ball. They got to get JT going. In my eyes, if they can't get any of that going, then it could be a rough day. But I think they can. I do. But the defense has to do their part, and they can't get gashed like they did against a 32nd rated offense in New England. That won't cut it. So it's got to be good, solid, complimentary football. And let's just see how they bring this out to the field, because they always say the right things, but this is a playoff game. Right now, their chances are 27% as of now to make the playoffs. If they lose, it drops to 6. So let's just be honest. That's not going to – no, it's not happening. Now, if they pull this game out, their chance to go from about 25, 27 or whatever, depending on who you're looking at, up to about 55 to 60. So that should kind of tell you all you need to know right there. So let's see, check the spread real quick here. It's been kind of floating around that 4 to 5 mark, which that makes sense. I would love to see while I'm checking this out. The other thing I wanted to mention, I'd love to see Colts get some pressure on Bo Nix, but they haven't got pressure on much of anybody all season, so I'm not holding my breath. But it is a 5-point line, so that does sound about right. So 4:25 Eastern time Sunday, and hopefully I'll be able to come back here next week and back to wearing my blue again and have a little bigger smile on my face. But that's neither here nor there. So, all right, we're going to last break in, and then we're going to talk some college football and see if the committee got it right. Talk a little IU Notre Dame, because people are losing their mind about that. And have my special guest on here shortly. So one last round of breaks, and we'll be right back. Thank you once again for joining me, Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you, from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well, and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on The Defining Moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B., host of the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in live to the Show of the Land on Tuesdays, where we will cover the Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Guardians, and Monsters. We will also talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets, Crew, Fury, and of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll also cover other colleges in the area like Akron, Kent State, Cleveland State, Mount Union, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace, Youngstown State, among others. So like I said, if you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in Tuesdays to the Show of the Land with Jen B. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back. Thank you again for joining, and let's not waste any more time here, right? I'm wearing a Ohio State shirt for a reason today. To bring her back in from Bougie Sports and from the state of OH. Welcome back, Heather. How the heck are you?
I'm great. I'm loving the get up.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
I think it looks nice.
Yeah, it doesn't feel so nice, but it is what it is.
You know?
Heather, real quick before we dive into everything, let people know where they can find you.
You can find me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at Love Buckeyes. You can check us out. My network is Bougie Sports. You can check us out on YouTube at Bougie Sports, and you can check out our website where you can see all of the exciting things that we're doing at bougiesports.net, Bougie. You know, we spell it bougie. So check us out. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And Heather does a great show on college football, which I was lucky or unlucky enough, depending on how you look at it, to be a part of. So she does great work on her show, no doubt. So check her out. So let's get into a few things here before I have to humiliate myself. Did the committee get it right?
Yeah, they did. Leaving Alabama out, we'll just the elephant in the room. Alabama shouldn't have been in, and SMU should have. The only team I think maybe had a little bit of a chance was South Carolina. Yep. But yeah, I think they got it right.
I 100% agree with you. So since you're so kind to take time out of your day and come on my show and also gloat a little bit, I want to go ahead and give you a chance to how are you feeling about Ohio State's matchup with Tennessee?
Just as an Ohio State fan, and after the last 4 years with Michigan, or 5 years, I guess you can't count 2020, but after the last 4 games with Michigan, I don't feel great about it, but I think we have the talent to win. So I think Tennessee is a very balanced team, but I think that we have a good defense and an explosive offense as long as we don't play tight. So I like Ohio State's chances against Tennessee.
You have a score?
If you had asked me the Michigan game, I think I said it was going to be like 34-10. I think it's going to be a high scoring game with Tennessee because both teams have a really good offense, and I think they're going to wear that defense down. I would put it in like a 35-21 range. I do think that we go up relatively big on Tennessee, but I think Tennessee comes back in the second half. So I'm going to go like a 35-21.
All right. I can roll with that. All right. So I know you're an Ohio girl, but I'm going to have you talk a little bit of Indiana because, you're on Indy Sports Nation. You got to.
Well,
so
honestly, it's the game I'm looking most forward to. It's going to be a good game.
I think there's a lot of people saying that, and not just here in Indiana either. I mean, you talked earlier. This is the first time they've played each other since 1991. And for those of you who may have not went on the sites or whatever and looked, I think ticket prices initially were going for about $1,050. Yeah. Absolutely insane. But this has been one that people here in Indiana wanted to see this, and whether it be a bowl game from back in the day or whatever. So just from your college football expertise, what are some things that you could see potentially going down this game?
It has a rivalry feel to it. It has that because they haven't played, because they don't play in the regular season, and Indiana is just such a surprise team this year, and Notre Dame has been a little bit of a letdown the past however many years with the big games. It has that rivalry feel to me. I do think that Notre Dame is the better team. I think that they have a better defense. I think that they have a better offense, but I think that Indiana also has that swag. Cignetti, love him or hate him, he's got that team believing, and he's got the fans believing. Even after that loss to Ohio State, he didn't back down. He didn't apologize. I said what I said, and I stand on my business. So I feel like it's going to be tough. I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring game because both teams Notre Dame has a superior defense. But I do think that Indiana can hang for a little while. I think that it's going to be a ground game. I think it's going to be a control the clock pound game. I see Notre Dame, though, coming out on top on this one.
If the game comes down to something like that, I 100% agree with you. No one has stopped Notre Dame's rushing attack really all year.
Nope.
And I talked about this earlier. Jeremiah Love's on another level.
He's got 15 touchdowns this year. 15 as a running back, and that's just unheard of anymore. Yeah,
it really is. Why I do think Indiana has an advantage. I do like if I'm comparing quarterbacks. Yeah, I think IU has the advantage here with quarterback play.
I do,
especially from a pure passing standpoint. And this is where, if you're from an IU perspective, if you're able to contain Notre Dame's run game, and I'm not saying stop it. I'm saying contain it.
No, you're not going to stop it. You have to contain it. Right. Bend, don't break.
Right. And then if you're able to get Leonard to throw a little bit more than he's accustomed to doing, that's where I think Indiana could possibly win a turnover battle and thus make this game, really, really interesting, which I still think it will be. I mean, to your point earlier, which you said it feels like a rivalry game. Even though it's not, it does have that feel. You're right.
Yeah.
And typically in games like that, you throw stats out. It's out the window.
Yeah, and in the postseason, I mean, anything can happen. Now that they have an NFL postseason feel to them anyway, the way it's set up. So, any team can beat any team in 1 week.
Right.
I think we've seen that over and over and over again this year.
Yep. It's not like we're in the NBA or Major League Baseball or anything. You don't have to win a 7-game series. You just got to win one.
Correct. Yep.
So I'm feeling it feels like a Notre Dame to me as of right now. I mean, we have still another week, so I'm not hoping for anybody to get injured or anything like that.
No.
Whatever, don't want that. But it does feel like it's in South Bend. There's the Notre Dame fans are the Notre Dame fans. And
you're right. I'm very familiar with that.
I know you are. And I know a lot of them are nervous too, just because of history. But yeah, and I get it. But this isn't Brian Kelly anymore. This isn't. I mean, Freeman's winning percentage record against ranked opponents is actually pretty good.
It is.
So,
it is.
And we talked about that. He's got his players ready to go to battle for him. And I touched it on this show. I was watching that Army game, and before the kickoff, like, what did you tell your team you needed? And he just said one word: violence. And I was like off my couch. I'm like, oh man, let's go.
You're ready to run through a wall. I'm ready to run through. I'm like, why didn't I play football?
Right? I mean, I'm going to break a hip first play, but it's fine. I'm in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think, and the other thing too, we've talked about it, and IU and Grant, as an Indiana guy, I don't really care who wins this game. I want to see him. I want to see a great game at the end of the day. But man, IU offensively, as good as they've been this year, have struggled when they've played, top level, or do I even dare say elite defenses.
Right. They have, and they've proven that against Michigan and against Ohio State. Yep.
And now you're getting another tough defense in Notre Dame. You got Crossback, who's a good run stuffer, and then Xavier Watts is just all-American back there doing pretty much whatever he wants.
Well, Notre Dame has a better secondary than Ohio State, and I
Correct.
said what I it hurts to say that, but they do. And Ohio State secondary shut down Indiana, so I'm not sure. That's where I think that the run is going to have to come in. I think you're going to have to establish that toughness and that ground and pound, because Notre Dame is they're just so good. And maybe you wear that front five, front seven down with the run.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing all year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've seen outside of Ohio State front seven, but
right.
again, IUC in a front seven like Notre Dame's, because outside of that rivalry game last week against USC, which again, rivalry games, I throw everything out the window.
You do.
Once they hit you, once Notre Dame hits you, you're going down.
Right.
There's no falling forward and getting that extra 3 or 4 yards or whatever it may be. You're just usually going backwards.
Right. And Ohio State showed that too, because we hadn't been known for blitzing. We weren't getting the sacks, but
yeah, you literally brought the whole team, I think, on that one play.
We sent everyone.
You literally sent the house.
I know. There was everybody got like a third or a tenth of a sack because they sent everyone. But that's where they exposed Indiana a little bit in that, because we hadn't played that kind of defense all year, really. Maybe against Penn State, but we exposed Indiana a little bit in that, and there were no adjustments that were made after that. So does Sig? Does he make those adjustments if they are getting beat like that against Notre Dame? I don't know. I don't know if he can.
Yeah, I don't know if he. I think he can, but I don't know if he's got the personnel.
The talent, right? I just don't know.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I think that he can. Yeah. I think that he can call the plays. I just don't think that they can execute it if they're going to get attacked early.
Right. So real quick, we're we got a few more minutes here before we hit the hour. If you had to pick right now, who do you think? Who would you see in the national championship game? Try to put your bias aside if you can.
Notre Dame, Oregon.
Okay.
Bias aside, Notre Dame, Oregon. I would like to see Ohio State and anybody else but Notre Dame, but I think Notre Dame runs the table.
Nice. I think Notre Dame beats Indiana. I think Georgia's worries me.
Depends on what Georgia team you get.
Yeah. If the good Georgia team, yeah, probably not. But they haven't played 4 quarters all year, I don't think.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, I don't think so. If you get them on another game like that, like they've done all season, a good team like Notre Dame, I think, would give them some fits and could possibly pull that off. And then, yes, I'm right there with you. I think you see them in the final.
Yeah. I just think that Georgia is which Beck are you going to get? Are you going to get the media star, or are you going to get the mediocre quarterback play? I just don't trust Georgia.
Yeah, they've not given us anybody reason to this year, to be honest.
None. Not even in the games that they've won.
No, you're absolutely right. All right, so give us one more time, Heather, where they can find you. I'm going to see if I can pull this up.
Okay.
Unless you're, God forbid there be another technical difficulty.
Yeah, we did. We had a technical difficulty on and that was actually my fault. I thought that I had picked a good one, but you can find me. You can find me on X at Love Buckeyes. I do my college football show every Friday. It depends on what time it is. I like to have guests on. So if I'm having you, we do it right around 3:30. So you can do this show, and then if I have other guests, it's right around 6-ish, 7-ish. So I always post on my page when it's going to be in more than enough time. So check me out at Love Buckeyes on X, and then check us out on bougiesports.net, and you can see all of the amazing things that we're doing with our network of people.
Perfect. They do good work. So, all right, I'm going to see if this will work. And I'm only doing a snippet because that was the deal.
It was the deal. I know. I remember. You reminded me about a million different times.
Yeah, of course I'm going to. You've been doing the same had I won the bet.
Can
we hear this?
You can hear it. I can see them. I've been to enough games. I can see them.
All right, hold on. I'll try to get to the point. Maybe.
It's a good song.
Yeah, so you said.
We're almost there. Drive on that field. Get up, Scarlet and Gray. Don't let them through the line. We have to win this game today. Ohio!
As you go.
Our honor defend. We will fight to the end for Ohio.
Yeah, something like that.
I think I was way more enthusiastic than you are. That's okay. You still paid up.
Gee, I wonder why.
You paid up.
Yeah, at least I did the fun one. As you're trying to make me do the
Carmen, Ohio is like.
You made me try to dress up in a gown like it was in a choir concert or something.
Don't hate because we have better traditions than your dumb programs.
Oh wow, the gloves are coming off.
I'm a homer. I'm an Ohio State homer.
The gloves are coming
Ohio
off.
State. I am not attacking. So you're Indiana fans. I'm not. I actually don't hate Indiana.
She doesn't. She's good.
I don't.
He likes. It's this good friendly banter from neighboring states.
It is. It really is. I promise.
I
promise. Check me out. I promise. Don't block me.
No. It's all good banter. Heather, you are the best. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
We will do this again soon, and hope to God I never have to do a song like that again.
Thank you.
Have a great night. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging around, having a good time, and hope we got a laugh or earplugs at my expense, whatever. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Have an amazing weekend, and we will see you all next Thursday. Remember, we'll put this out on the socials next Thursday, 7 p.m. So once again, signing off here, Big Mike, Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great weekend, everybody.